One of the common questions we get on this channel is, how do you stay motivated to practice piano for the long term? This is a fantastic question. On this channel, we do lots of tips and strategies and exercises, but in a way, none of this matters if you don't have that motivation and will to practice. It's an important question, so let's dive into this today. I personally have motivation slumps too, but in this video, I want to break down for you my thoughts on piano and motivation. I want to give you 5 tips you can think about to stay focused, log in those practice hours, and be amazing at piano. Before we get into the tips, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel to stay in touch with more of these free piano lessons and tutorials. Tip number 1 is to practice pieces that you love. I know this sounds like common sense, but really make it a point to pay attention to this one. I think you really owe it to yourself to do some research on the pieces that you will love to practice and work towards in the next couple of months or years. We live in the age of YouTube and Spotify now, where all this music is so readily available. I recommend you to create a playlist of 10 to 20 pieces that you really want to aim to play. Check them off one by one, always go back to them and get inspired by them. Tip number 2 for staying motivated is to track your progress. I personally track my progress in a couple of ways. I keep a journal for myself. This kind of contains everything from my daily thoughts to my practice progress. It's probably a little hard to read here from the camera, but I put notes on the bars I need to work on and the different phrases I need to get better at, etc., etc. For me, there's something just so amazing about writing notes down and tracking my progress day after day, week after week. I recommend you to also get yourself a practice journal. Another way I track my progress is through the Forest app. This is not a sponsored ad or anything. I just love them so much. I've been using it for about a year. The idea is you set a timer for, let's say, 10, 20 minutes, and you click on plant and the tree actually starts to grow. And you're not allowed to leave the app, because the moment you do that, the tree dies, and you don't want that because you don't want that dead tree to appear in your forest. It just doesn't look really good. If you complete that 10 or 20 minutes, the tree blossoms, and then you have this nice little tree in your forest. And over time, you just built this very nice looking forest. I love this app. It gamifies my practice and it just keeps me motivated. Tip number 3 to staying motivated is to learn from a piano teacher. I've gotten most of my piano gains by working with a mentor or a teacher for 2 reasons. The first thing is that there is money on the line. Because I'm paying the teacher, I feel like I'm using my own resources to improve myself. I'm just motivated by not wanting to waste any money. So I practice hard as a result. Second reason why I think learning from a teacher is a good idea is because, especially when you find a teacher that you really respect and like, you don't want to disappoint your teacher. It's always a nice feeling to rock up to your lesson, whether that's face-to-face or online, doing a good job and have your teacher say, wow, well done. So from that perspective of, wanting the, let's say, the approval or the respect from another human, it can really motivate you to practice. 4th tip for today is to find an optimal time in the day to practice. Now, every person watching this video will have a slightly different answer, but some people prefer to practice in the morning, some afternoon, some night. I used to practice a lot in the night, not due to any particular reason. I just sort of did it because it was my habit, but I was always tired and never felt like the practice was that good. Ever since about 2 years ago, I started to practice in the morning. Now, I don't know what it's like for you, but I love practicing in the morning. I just feel like my brain is such a better sponge in the morning. It can retain and absorb things so much better. I feel like 30 minutes of practice in the morning is equivalent to like 1.5 hours in the evening. It's just a time in the day where my brain just functions a lot better, especially after a coffee. Everyone here will be a little bit different, but the principle here is you should experiment with practicing piano at different times of the day to see which fits you the best. And while we're on this note, let's also quickly talk about your environment. Is the piano or keyboard placed in a part of the house that is suitable for practice? Is it quiet, or is there a bunch of distractions around you? If possible, place your piano or keyboard in a part of a house that's actually quiet and gives you some space to think and practice in peace. Tip number 5 for today is to listen to recordings that inspire you. This 5th one is a huge one for me. Whenever I have any motivational slumps, I realize it's normally because I haven't heard any good music recently. Normally when you listen to some really awesome music on Spotify or YouTube, there's just this rush of emotions that completely overwhelm me and gets me right back into the piano again. So I really recommend you also put in that research to find some recordings that really motivate you and really make sure you listen to them to stay inspired. And there you go, those were 5 tips for you to stay motivated with piano. Practice pieces you love, track your progress, learn from a teacher, find an optimal time to practice, and listen to recordings that inspire you. If you have any thoughts or comments about these 5 tips, let me know in the comments below. That's all the time we have for today. Catch you in the next piano tutorial video.